What if I told you that behind the roaring guitars and the thunder of the stage lights, some of heavy metal's biggest stars were hiding dark secrets of their own? Fame brought them power, money, and endless temptation, and for many, that temptation proved impossible to resist. Affairs, broken vows, and love triangles tore through their personal lives like a brutal guitar solo. Some tried to keep it quiet, others wore their chaos like a badge of honor. But when the truth came out, the damage was already done. Here are 15 heavy metal stars who just couldn't stop cheating. 15. Vince Neil. When it comes to living the ultimate rock star life, Vince Neil of Motley Crue practically wrote the rule book. He had it all: fame, fortune, and a reputation for being one of the wildest frontmen in heavy metal. But behind the flashing lights and roaring crowds, his love life was a complete mess. Vince was known for his constant partying, endless groupies, and public relationships that rarely ended well. During the 80s, when Motley Crue was at its peak, the band's backstage world was pure chaos. There were drugs, alcohol, and temptations everywhere. Vince dove into it all without holding back. His first marriage fell apart under the weight of infidelity rumors. Even when he remarried, the same pattern repeated: affairs, breakups, and public drama. His partners tried to hold on, but the endless tours and rock star lifestyle made loyalty nearly impossible. What made Vince's story more heartbreaking was how he seemed trapped in a cycle of self-destruction. The fame fed his ego, and the chaos became his comfort zone. He once admitted that the wild lifestyle felt normal, that cheating and partying were just part of being in a band like Motley Crue. But over time, it cost him more than relationships. It left him isolated, blamed, and unable to keep the people who truly cared about him. Vince Neil wasn't just another heavy metal star who cheated. He was the face of a generation where excess ruled everything. His story became a cautionary tale of how fame can blur the line between pleasure and pain, and how even the loudest rock star can't drown out the silence that follows betrayal. 14. Gene Simmons. If heavy metal had a poster boy for infidelity, Gene Simmons would wear that crown proudly. The Kiss frontman built his image around sex, fame, and temptation, and he didn't hide it. Gene claimed to have been with over 10,000 women, and for decades he treated his cheating like a trophy. While his band conquered stages around the world, his private life spun in a storm of lies, broken promises, and secret flings. His longtime partner, actress Shannon Tweed, stood by him through it all, but even she had her limits. After years of public humiliation and cheating rumors, Shannon finally walked away, tired of the double life. For Gene, it was a wake-up call. The man who once bragged about never settling down suddenly faced losing the one person who truly loved him. When Gene finally married Shannon after nearly 30 years together, it wasn't just a wedding, it was redemption. He admitted he had been addicted to attention, power, and lust. Being a rock star made him believe he could get away with anything. But fame didn't save him from guilt. He realized that loyalty and respect mattered more than the spotlight. Gene Simmons' story proves that cheating might feel like a thrill in the moment, but it leaves scars that even money and fame can't hide. He built his identity around seduction and excess, but in the end, it was love, not lust, that forced him to face the truth. 13. David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth didn't just sing about living wild, he lived it louder than anyone. As the flamboyant frontman of Van Halen, he embodied the larger-than-life image of a rock god. Every show was chaos, every backstage moment was temptation, and every night was another story of pleasure and regret. His fame came with groupies lined up, and David never said no to attention. He once joked that he didn't have relationships, just long after parties. During Van Halen's peak years in the 80s, he became famous not only for his powerful voice, but also for his non-stop womanizing. He treated every city like a playground, leaving behind rumors of flings that followed him wherever he went. Bandmates often said that Roth's ego and wild behavior made working with him impossible. His endless affairs weren't just gossip, they created real tension inside Van Halen. The rock star lifestyle became an excuse for cheating, and soon even fans expected him to act that way. For David, cheating wasn't a mistake. It was part of the brand he built. But behind the glitter and fame was a man chasing something he could never hold on to, a real connection. As the years passed, the charm faded, and the wild nights lost their spark. What remained was the legend of a man who turned infidelity into an art form, yet couldn't escape the loneliness that came with it. David Lee Roth's story became a classic rock cautionary tale, proof that even when you have everything, loyalty is the one thing fame can't buy. 12. Axl Rose. If chaos had a name in the late 80s, it was Axl Rose. The lead singer of Guns N' Roses wasn't just famous for his screaming vocals and volatile temper. He was known for his messy, passionate, and destructive love life. From his relationship with model Erin Everly to countless rumored affairs, Axl's world was a roller coaster of obsession, jealousy, and betrayal. Axl lived his life like his music, fast, loud, and out of control. He could fill stadiums with fans who adored him, yet he couldn't hold on to the people he claimed to love. His relationships often mirrored his on-stage meltdowns, full of emotion, but always ending in flames. Behind the fame, his insecurity and need for control turned romance into war. Cheating wasn't always about desire. For Axl, it was power. His marriage to Erin Everly collapsed under the pressure of constant fights and accusations of infidelity. Rumors swirled that Axl couldn't stay loyal, even when he tried. Later relationships followed the same pattern: intense beginnings, explosive endings, and public drama that played out like lyrics from a tragic ballad. Axl's cheating scandals became part of his legend, shaping the image of the rock star who burned every bridge he crossed. Yet behind the arrogance was a broken man who used fame to hide pain. In the end, his greatest love affair was with chaos itself, a love that never betrayed him, but destroyed everything else in its path. 11. Tommy Lee. Few rock stars lived the heavy metal dream as recklessly as Tommy Lee. As Motley Crue's wild drummer, he became a symbol of the ultimate bad boy. Fast cars, wild parties, and endless women. His love life was just as intense as his drumming, filled with high-profile relationships and constant cheating scandals that kept his name in every tabloid. His marriage to Heather Locklear was once seen as the perfect match. Hollywood glamour meets rock star rebellion. But behind the scenes, Tommy couldn't stop himself from giving in to temptation. Affairs and rumors followed him wherever he went, and soon the picture-perfect love story crumbled. When he later married Pamela Anderson, the cycle repeated itself. Passion turned into chaos, and cheating accusations became front-page news. Tommy lived for the thrill, not the consequences. His addiction to fame, attention, and pleasure made him believe he was untouchable. Even when his relationships fell apart, he would dive back into the same destructive behavior, chasing excitement like a drug. Over time, he admitted that the fame and chaos had consumed him, that the constant cheating wasn't about love or lust, but about feeling alive in a world that never stopped watching. Tommy Lee's story is the perfect example of how a man who had everything could lose it all to his own impulses. His name became forever linked with scandal, proving that for some rock stars, loyalty was just another rule meant to be broken. 10. Lars Ulrich. Lars Ulrich, the powerhouse drummer and co-founder of Metallica, built a career on precision, power, and control. But off the stage, control was the one thing he struggled to keep. During Metallica's rise to fame in the 80s and 90s, Lars became caught in the whirlwind of success. Endless tours, parties, and the kind of fame that blurs all boundaries. He was known for his charm and confidence, but that same energy often led him into temptation. Affairs and short-lived flings followed him across continents. His first marriages couldn't survive the chaos of life on the road, and while he rarely discussed it publicly, those close to him knew the toll it took. Behind the fame and wealth was a man torn between two worlds: the loyal, family man he wanted to be, and the reckless star the world expected him to remain. The constant travel and adrenaline of performing made it easy to slip into bad habits. Each tour became a test of loyalty, and Lars often failed. Over time, he admitted that fame had distorted his priorities. Success gave him everything except stability. The cheating, the broken promises, and the guilt eventually caught up, leaving him to question what all the glory was really worth. Lars Ulrich's story reminds everyone that even the strongest rhythms can break under the weight of fame. His struggle wasn't just about infidelity. It was about a man fighting to find balance in a world that demanded he live without rules. 9. Sebastian Bach. Sebastian Bach had the kind of charisma that could light up an arena before he even sang a note. As the frontman of Skid Row, his mix of raw talent and boyish looks made him a fan favorite. But behind that golden voice and wild hair was a man whose personal life was just as loud as his music. Fame hit him fast, and temptation followed him everywhere he went. In the late 80s and early 90s, Skid Row was one of the hottest bands in heavy metal. Every night was a blur of sold-out shows, parties, and adoring fans. Sebastian became the center of attention, and he loved it. But fame came with a cost. Rumors of infidelity began swirling, and his reckless lifestyle started to overshadow his music. Even as he tried to build a stable family life, he found it impossible to walk away from the chaos of the road. Friends said he couldn't resist the energy of attention. It wasn't just about cheating. It was about control, ego, and the thrill of knowing he could have it all. But the very fame that lifted him became the reason his relationships crumbled. His cheating scandals painted him as another rock star who couldn't balance love with success. Sebastian's story became one of excess, of a man who had everything but couldn't hold on to the one thing that mattered most: loyalty. His downfall didn't come from lack of talent, but from the inability to live a quiet life when the world kept demanding more chaos. 8. Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne's name is almost synonymous with chaos. As the lead voice of Black Sabbath and one of metal's biggest legends, he lived every stereotype of a rock star: wild, reckless, and untamed. But even behind his iconic growl and bizarre persona, Ozzy's personal life told a painful story of betrayal and heartbreak. His marriage to Sharon Osbourne became one of rock's most famous relationships. She stood by him through addiction, arrests, and public meltdowns. But what she couldn't escape was his constant cheating. Ozzy admitted to numerous affairs over the years, including a shocking revelation in the 2010s when he confessed to a long-running infidelity that nearly destroyed his marriage. For decades, he blamed his behavior on drugs and fame, saying the chaos of touring made him lose sight of what mattered. But deep down, even Ozzy knew that his actions went beyond addiction. The thrill of living dangerously became part of who he was, even when it hurt the people closest to him. When Sharon finally walked away, it forced him to face a truth he had ignored for years: that love has limits, even for rock legends. Eventually, Ozzy sought therapy and fought to rebuild what he had broken. His public apology showed rare vulnerability, proving that even the Prince of Darkness could feel remorse. His story wasn't just about cheating. It was about redemption, and realizing that fame doesn't excuse pain. 7. Scott Weiland. Scott Weiland had everything a rock star could dream of: the voice, the looks, and the power to command a stage. As the lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots and later Velvet Revolver, he defined the sound of a generation. But while his music soared, his personal life crashed in flames. His marriages were filled with chaos, and his battles with addiction only fueled his habit of betrayal. Scott's relationships were turbulent from the start. His struggles with drugs made it impossible to stay faithful or even present. Those close to him said he was torn between two worlds: the man who wanted to be loved and the addict who couldn't stop chasing destruction. His affairs became just another form of escape, a way to numb the emptiness fame couldn't fill. Behind every headline about his music was another about heartbreak. His wife and partners tried to save him, but the cycle never ended. Cheating, drugs, and emotional breakdowns became part of his tragic legend. Even as his voice inspired millions, his actions left scars on everyone close to him. Scott's story shows how fame can amplify pain instead of healing it. His life became a haunting example of how talent and temptation often travel together, and how even the most gifted souls can lose themselves when love turns into chaos. 6. Bret Michaels. Bret Michaels, the frontman of Poison, was every girl's dream in the late 80s. Long blonde hair, killer smile, and that rock star confidence that screamed danger. But behind the charm and good looks was a man whose love life became one long string of cheating scandals. Whether on stage or on television, Bret's romantic image always came with a warning label. At the height of Poison's fame, Bret was living fast and wild. Every concert ended with backstage parties filled with groupies, and Bret became known for his irresistible charisma. But fame and temptation don't mix well with commitment. His relationships with high-profile women, including Pamela Anderson, were often overshadowed by rumors of affairs and secret flings. Even on his reality show, Rock of Love, his struggles with staying faithful were clear. The show was meant to find him love, but it only highlighted his endless desire for excitement and attention. For Bret, cheating wasn't just about lust. It was about the adrenaline rush of being wanted by everyone. Over time, he admitted that fame had warped his sense of loyalty. He lived in a world where every night brought new temptations, and saying no felt impossible. Bret Michaels' story shows how a man who had millions of fans couldn't give his heart fully to one. His charm made him a star, but his need for constant thrills made love something he could never hold on to. 5. Nikki Sixx. Nikki Sixx, the driving force behind Motley Crue, lived his life like one long, reckless song, full of excess, danger, and heartbreak. As the band's bassist and primary songwriter, he helped shape the sound of heavy metal's wildest decade. But while his music defined the era, his personal life spiraled into chaos. Drugs, fame, and infidelity became his constant companions. Nicky's charm was magnetic, but it came with a dark side. During the 80s, his relationships were wrecked by constant cheating and emotional distance. He admitted later that he couldn't separate love from addiction. Everything blurred together in a haze of pleasure and pain. Women came and went, often left broken by his inability to stay loyal. He was married multiple times, yet the pattern repeated: sweet beginnings followed by betrayal and regret. In his memoirs, Nicky confessed that he used love as another escape, just like drugs. The rush of being desired fed his ego, but it also trapped him in a cycle of guilt. It wasn't until years later, after sobriety and self-reflection, that he began to understand the damage he had caused. Nikki Sixx's story isn't just about cheating. It's about a man trying to fill an emptiness fame could never cure. He was the symbol of everything wild about rock and roll. But behind the tattoos and chaos was someone searching for peace he never quite found. 4. David Coverdale had a voice smooth as silk and a presence that made crowds melt. As the frontman of Whitesnake, he turned power ballads into anthems and seduction into an art. But that same charm that made him a legend on stage became his downfall off it. Coverdale's life was a constant whirlwind of passion, fame, and temptation. From his early days with Deep Purple to Whitesnake's massive success in the 80s, he carried himself like a true gentleman until the lights went out. Behind the suave image and slow love songs, David struggled to stay faithful. Tour after tour, his magnetic personality drew attention from every direction. Relationships with models and actresses made headlines, but so did the affairs that followed. He often said that fame came with too many open doors and he wasn't strong enough to close them. While his songs spoke of devotion and love, his real life told a different story. Each romance ended in heartbreak, leaving behind whispers of betrayal. In later years, David admitted that the rock lifestyle made it almost impossible to live a quiet, loyal life. But even as his personal life fell apart, he never lost his ability to connect through music. His voice carried the same mix of passion and pain that mirrored his love life, full of beauty, but haunted by regret. 3. Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler was the definition of rock and roll excess. As the explosive frontman of Aerosmith, his stage presence was electric, his voice unmistakable, and his lifestyle legendary. But behind the fame was a man consumed by addiction, ego, and the endless temptation that came with being a rock icon. Throughout the 70s and 80s, Steven's relationships were tangled webs of passion and betrayal. He cheated repeatedly, unable to stay faithful for long. His marriages and romances crumbled under the weight of fame and excess. For him, love was exciting only when it was dangerous, the same energy he brought to every song and performance. His addictions made things worse. The blur of touring, drugs, and parties made it easy to justify cheating. Even when he tried to change, the cycle continued. Each time he found love, he also found a way to sabotage it. Steven later admitted that fame had made him feel invincible. The stage fed his ego, and the attention from fans became a drug stronger than anything else. It wasn't until years later, after losing nearly everything, that he began to face the truth. Behind the flashy clothes and rock star swagger was a man who couldn't stop chasing what would eventually destroy him. Steven Tyler's story is proof that sometimes the biggest battles aren't fought on stage, but in the heart, where loyalty is tested by the noise of the world. 2. James Hetfield. James Hetfield, the frontman of Metallica, was known for his power, precision, and control on stage. But off the stage, his life was anything but steady. The pressures of fame, constant touring, and deep-rooted insecurities made him vulnerable to temptation. Behind the image of strength was a man struggling to find balance between success and loyalty. In his early years, James admitted to giving in to temptation during tours. The lifestyle of a rock star made it easy. Endless cities, fans, and the loneliness that comes with life on the road. His infidelity put immense strain on his marriage, and for years he carried the guilt in silence. Eventually, it reached a breaking point when his wife confronted him about his behavior and emotional distance. That moment forced James to confront everything he had avoided: the drinking, the anger, the duels, the cheating, and the emptiness fame couldn't fix. He entered rehab and began a long journey of self-reflection. Slowly, he learned that being a rock god didn't mean losing his humanity. He rebuilt his marriage with honesty and accountability, proving that redemption was still possible even after betrayal. James Hetfield's story became one of growth. He showed that strength isn't just in power chords or roaring crowds. It's in facing the damage you've done and choosing to change. 1. Lemmy Kilmister. Lemmy Kilmister of Motorhead was unlike any other rock star. While others hid their scandals, Lemmy lived his truth openly. He never married, never pretended to be faithful, and never apologized for it. His life was pure rebellion, fast, raw, and unapologetically honest. For Lemmy, cheating wasn't really cheating because he never promised monogamy. He loved women, and they loved him right back. With his gravelly voice, sharp humor, and don't-care attitude, he became the ultimate outlaw of heavy metal. His relationships were open, wild, and fleeting, built on freedom, not commitment. Unlike other stars who lived double lives, Lemmy was brutally honest about who he was. He once said he didn't believe in marriage because it made people lie. He preferred truth, even if it was uncomfortable. And while his lifestyle shocked many, those who knew him respected his consistency. Through decades of fame, touring, and chaos, Lemmy remained loyal only to his music. His love life might have been a storm, but his authenticity never wavered. He didn't cheat by accident. He simply refused to play by society's rules. Lemmy Kilmister's story closed the book on heavy metal's wildest hearts. He didn't need redemption or excuses. He lived his life his way, loud, reckless, and free, leaving behind a legacy that defined what it truly meant to be rock and roll. Infidelity may have fueled the chaos behind the scenes, but for these heavy metal stars, it also left scars that no fame or fortune could ever fix. Their music shook the world, yet their private lives were often louder than their guitars. So, was it the price of living fast, or a weakness they could never escape? Which of these scandals shocked you the most? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories from the dark side of rock.